You know, I want to say something. I think sometimes I feel like some of the information that we're talking about seems a little out there, or maybe not out there because
Yeah.
it's all happening, but it's hard for it's hard for everyday Americans who
Yeah.
have zero combat experience and are just going to work and getting by the day and not really. They're coming after you.
Yeah.
For God had not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Hey YouTube world, harvest is plenty. Thanks for stopping by to check out the video. So before I even begin, let me just say this up front. I did not make this video to induce panic or to cause fear. I don't even consider it to be doom and gloom. I want to give it to you guys as a warning up front to give you times to prepare physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. A lot of times when God gives us warning ahead of time, He's given us that so we can prepare for it. And that when situations arise, we're not shocked by it and we're not caught flat footed and we know how to deal with it a little bit. So that's why I created this video, because there is a hidden and secret agenda that's at play here. And it's so far beyond Democrats and Republicans. It doesn't matter who's in the White House, they cannot stop the New World Order from coming. They cannot stop God's judgment upon America, and they cannot stop Bible prophecy. I just want to air that out and let you guys be clear on some things. All right, so let's begin.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am.
The scene in Kansas City tonight is one of horror, confusion, and grief. 15 people, among them 2 children, are so far confirmed dead, with many more injured.
Haunting images of the attackers are coming to light from surveillance.
Secretary of Defense James Riley is expected to make a statement on the attacks.
Our intense focus on recovery and assisting the injured and the families of those who've been killed is matched only by our determination to prevent more attacks. A message to our attackers. Your bombs do not terrify us. They empower us. They empower us to send you something that is truly terrifying. The full weight of the United States military.
Wow, that was such a dramatic and intense scene. And I know stuff like that is very hard for some people to watch. But this is the reality that we're facing today. Could you imagine if that occurred in America? What the news headlines would be? All the finger pointing that would take place in government as they try to discuss the security failure and what they could have done to possibly prevent that from happening and how to prevent it from happening again in the future. Think about all the laws that's already been passed, and they're just waiting for some crisis to implement those new laws. As they say, You're never supposed to allow a good crisis to go to waste. Think about that. Have you ever had those conversations with your family and all the people that you love and care about? I know a lot of people don't want to do that because denial is their self-defense. They don't want to talk about such things. People like to stick their head in the sand and hope that the wolf just go away. But if the wolf is at the door, he will not go away because you choose to believe that he's not there. And a lot of times you can't pray away the wolf. I know people say, well, I'm just going to pray because God's in control and I'm not going to worry about it. Well, Noah couldn't pray away the flood. Joseph couldn't pray away the famine. Joshua, Caleb, King David, they couldn't pray away the Nephilim. They actually had to go to war against them to rid them, to get them out the land. They couldn't pray that away. So there's some things that we can't pray away, that as individuals, as Christians, as believers, as people in general, that we're going to have to face head on. That's why God gives us warning so we can prepare for these things. Now, we've been warned about these things for a long time now by many people in government, including the FBI Director Ray. I've made a series of videos about it. I'm going to link a couple of them below in the comment section. Just go below, click on it, watch it if you've never watched it. I will say, if you did see any of those videos, to watch them again, because repetition is the mother of learning, and maybe you have overlooked something in the past that if you listen to it again, you might catch it. A friend of mine and I, we used to discuss the attack in Mumbai, India, whereby a group of 10 terrorists, they went into the city. They were carrying weapons. They had military-grade grenades, and they broke off in pairs, in twos, like the disciples. And they went to their areas of the city, and they started their killing spree. And they paralyzed Mumbai, India. They killed a lot of people. Now imagine if a group of terrorists or sleeper cells get activated in America. They fan out across the country, and they hit 10 cities or 10 small towns or a combination of the two at the same time. What would happen in America? Fear and panic would grip this nation, and everything would be shut down. The stock market would plummet from that type of attack. Think about all of that stuff. That's why we need to get prepared. That's why we need to have these conversations. They actually made a movie about the Mumbai, India event. It's called Hotel Mumbai. It's on the screen. I recommend that you guys watch this movie. It'll give you some type of insight of what we could possibly be facing here in America. I will say this: denial and sticking your head in the sand will not save you when the wolf is knocking at the door. Keep that in mind. Let's get prepared, guys. Let's stay prayed up, because we don't know what we will be facing soon. I love you guys. That's all I have for you. I'll be back with more videos. May the good Lord continue to bless you and your family.
I have some alarming and concerning news that I just learned about that I really need to share with you. And just if you've seen the channel before, you know that this is not the kind of video I make. I've got over 2,000 videos. I've never made a video like this before. But I really have some news I need to share with you, and I think it's important that you hear this. So no intros, no sponsorships. I'm going to get right into it. So I had a conversation with somebody very, very recently that is in the position to know. They work for a federal government agency that has to deal with our security of our nation. And basically the news is, they told me what they could. There are people and groups in place within the borders of the United States right now with plans to do some major terroristic or mass casualty type events, disruptive events. I don't know the timeline. I don't know the details. That's all I know, that they are here now, and the agencies, federal agencies, are aware of that and working to thwart their plans. But I thought I would share that with you, and to not just be an alarmist or a fear monger, but there's some things that I think that are a good idea to do especially with news like that. And one of those is to, as much as possible, avoid being in places where a lot of people are gathered. That might be malls, it might be campaign events. I don't know the details again, but the advice I would have and the advice this person gave me was to try to minimize or avoid large gatherings of people, especially where there's a lot of publicity surrounding it. That might get a lot of attention. That's the best I can tell you right now. I really, again, I'm not trying to be dramatic or alarmist or fear mongering, but I thought this is information from somebody who absolutely is in a position to know, and they told me what they could tell me legally, and so I'm sharing it with you. I'm just saying, please be alert as always. Be aware of your surroundings. Pay attention, and just as much as possible, try to avoid large groups of people, especially large groups of people where there's publicity surrounding it. And as always, be armed and be prepared. So that's it. I'm not going to belabor the point anymore. I just really want to share this information with you. So please share this video with your friends and loved ones, and stay safe. Remember, survival is not an accident, so be prepared.
With well-designed training areas and ranges, and they are training at a level that's unprecedented. And you think about that, the advent of technology that is accessible to them now. Think about the proliferation of drone technology that we're seeing coming off the battlefield in Ukraine. I mean, how fast has that advanced?
Yeah.
And we already see that the attack in Russia at the theater, October 7 by Hamas in Israel, these are all local distributed attacks of horrorism. Horrific attacks, not World Trade Center type things, but where we live, work, and play, right? And what I keep going back to is whether it's ISIS-K, whether it's the Al-Qaeda, the thing that we know is they love to outdo the last attack.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be casual about the next one. They're going to make it a point to make it bigger and more spectacular and more paralyzing than the last one. And what I've heard Sarah and others say is that all indications are that they have trained heavily in close quarters battle, local distributed attacks, and that there's a very good chance that the next thing we see on the homeland could be an October 7 style house-to-house, restaurant-to-restaurant, synagogue to chapel kind of attack on a massive scale. Now, you think about what would happen if you had an October 7 style attack in Houston, Akron, Youngstown, Dallas, Miami, all at the same time. I mean, what did the DC snipers do? I mean, think about that. You talk about a $500K budget, like the DC snipers shot out of the back of a car and shut down the Beltway for weeks. Imagine the systemic paralysis that would result from an October 7 style attack across 6 cities at the same time.
I mean, we know what that looks like. I want to say something. I think sometimes I feel like some of the information that we're talking about seems a little out there, or maybe not out there because it's all happening, but it's hard for everyday Americans who have zero combat experience and are just going to work and getting by the day and not really. They're coming after you.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that we've learned being overseas, I think a lot of people think they're going to hit a military base.
Yeah.
They're going to hit a police station. They're looking for a fight. They're not looking for a fight. They are looking for the easiest target with the most casualties that is going to get on the news.
Yeah.
And where do we learn this from? We learn this from their tactics overseas. What do they hit? They hit markets. They hit mosques. They hit public places where there is little to no police or military. And that's what they're going to hit here. They're not coming after you because you're a hard target. They're not coming after me. They're coming after mom and her kids and dad that goes to his office job every day. That's who they're coming after.
Yeah.
You people better start paying attention to what the fuck is going on, because this shit is going to happen.
Yeah.
This is going to happen. This isn't a political thing. This is a country with zero borders. They've already caught people. They have no idea how many people have come across already. And this is how these organizations operate. And one other thing, these organizations are not competing against each other anymore. Now it's 21 terrorist organizations working together, training together in Afghanistan with one common goal, and that is us.